The Stardust Crusaders are one of the most known JoJo groups in all of JoJo, and everyone has a favorite, but who is the best? I'm here to answer that question with absolutely no bias at all. Hello and welcome back to another JoJo video. I'll be going through all the Stardust Crusaders and telling you 100% factual who is the best of the group. And let's start it off with our main JoJo of this part, Jotaro Kujo. Jotaro is this stoic bad boy that has one of the most broken stands in all of the series. Jotaro has this rude and serious demeanor that everyone plays him off as just like this edgy bad boy. But I think he's a very caring character that just masks it behind this tough guy persona. Jotaro, at the very least during this part, is a very straightforward character. He wants to defeat Dio in order to save his mom and is ending the battle that was started with his great grandpa. Jotaro is one of my favorite Joestars thus far, and there's many reasons for it. Some of the memorable fights here are like Jotaro versus the Darby brothers. I was just having so much fun seeing the outlandish shit that was happening in both the gambling side and in the video game side, and even his fight with Dio is very iconic. Jotaro putting Dio on edge for so long even before he was able to stop time. Even though Jotaro is one of the most iconic Joestars, we do have Joseph in this part as well, the joke star, and also a lot of people would say that is their favorite Joestar. Very similar to Jotaro's motivation, Joseph is trying to save his daughter, and a lot of people would say that Joseph has the weakest stand of the group, which is fair to say, but I do think without his stand, they wouldn't have been able to identify or even locate Dio in his hiding location. So it does have its uses, but I do see the argument that it may be the weakest. Joseph also has so many funny moments, and even now to this day, people are memeing the whole "this isn't the car" meme and using Hermit Purple to get out of the way of the fence. And honestly, it's just really fucking funny. Joseph also brings this fun side of the crew, which he's always crashing every vehicle that he's behind, cussing in English. He's just so lovable. He's such one of the lovable characters that truly brings a smile to your face, until part 4 when he cheats on his wife. I know Joseph is very smart. He has shown time and time again that he shouldn't be underestimated, and I think it's really impressive that he was able to combine his Hermit Purple and Hamon in order to try to bait Dio during the time stop. I know that he's showing that he's really smart, and he's one of the few characters in the show that can use Hamon. But I think it's very stupid that when he's doing the blood transfusion that he pretends to be Dio and almost get killed by Jotaro. Yet, I know that's kind of stupid, but I'll always have a soft spot for Joseph. The next Crusader that's introduced is Avdol, and Avdol has grown so much on me. I love how he's always over the top, and he feels like he's best buddying with Joseph throughout the part. His Magician Red is very cool, and his first encounter with Jotaro made me see that his stand is very powerful, and also hyped it up even more during his fight with Polnareff. As a character, he carries himself as a leader and a protector. During the first half, I took him as a very serious character and his motivations to help defeat Dio along with the Joestars. I do really enjoy the silly moment with Avdol, like when he and Joseph are magnetized to each other, and yet I think it's absolutely insane that he faked his death, dressed up as his father in front of Polnareff, who still carries the weight of his death with him, then just to reveal himself later on in the part saying, "Yes, I am." And then, like, I'm just so mad and confused at the same time, but also filled with happiness. I do think that he's done a little bit dirty at the end of the part, but he's still staying true to his character, saving Iggy and Polnareff from Vanilla Ice. Like, we just got into the mansion and we're already losing someone so important. Next, we have the MILF Hunter himself, Kakyoin. I really enjoyed the dynamic between Kakyoin and Jotaro, because it really felt cute to see these two jacked high schoolers just go on an adventure around the world. Yet, I found so captivating was Kakyoin's backstory, that not having much friends and being kinda isolated, and then seeing that this person that he tried to hurt, even though it wasn't his doing, save him and then also check up on him. Kakyoin, like myself, saw Jotaro for his true colors and vowed to help him achieve his goal. I know the jokes are that Kakyoin only defeated a bug and a baby. Yeah, you might be right about that, but we don't talk shit about the undeflectable Emerald Splash. Oh well, okay. All jokes aside, he's really amazing, and I truly do love Kakyoin. I do think his fights where he does take the W is kind of underwhelming, but compared to the whole series, it does make sense. But I do think that Tower of Grey and Death 13 weren't pushover fight stands in the least. So let's put a little bit of respect on my boy's name. In his final battle, I believe Kakyoin truly peaked in his fighting ability. He laid a trap for Dio, which I don't think Dio would have been able to survive this if he didn't have the world. Also, I do think that all the other stand users up to this point that the Crusaders have fought wouldn't have survived this attack. It's really sad that Kakyoin does die, but he uses his last Emerald Splash to help the Crusader figure out how Dio's stand works. a true Joe bro until the very end. Next, we have our favorite Frenchman, Polnareff. I don't think the joke about Polnareff having a bunch of side plots is an understatement. This man was fighting for his life over and over again and close to death's doorstep every time, and everyone else was kind of like watching TV or something. Polnareff instantly got my heart with that goddamn stupid pose, which was 100% necessary, by the way, and I do think that his search for revenge blinded him very early on, but made him a very interesting character. Seeing how Abdul had to save him twice, I think carries a lot of weight in his heart. Maybe something like a survivor's guilt type of thing. Even through the heartbreak, the serious moments, and finally getting his revenge for his sister's murder, Polnareff is still so full of life. Moments like Polnareff World, hitting on the ladies, or random serious handshake with Kakyoin in a sinking sub. It really shows how fun and captivating this character really is. Some of his fights were the most interesting to see in the entire part, like seeing him use Silver Chariot's sword as a literal bullet against Anubis, or how clever he was in the fight against Hangman, using reflection to his advantage and cornering his sister's murderer. Yet, I still think him and Iggy taking on Vanilla Ice will always remain the most emotional I've ever felt in part 3. Speaking of our coffee-loving mutt, we have Iggy. Iggy is the last member of the Crusaders to join, and he joins about halfway throughout the story. I love the idea that a member of the Crusader isn't a human, and it shows that fighting spirit can come from anywhere. Iggy is immediately looking out for number 1, himself, and is the biggest wild card on the team. And Joseph believes that because he has a stand that's made from sand, that he would be a great asset in fighting in Egypt. Iggy's design is really funny to me. He starts off as this grotesque looking dog and then slowly transitions into a humanoid dog. Iggy keeps this solo mentality up for most of the time, but I do find it really cute that there are these frames of him being cute or whatnot on his own or being held by Abdul. But my god, is the group photo with everyone so fucking cute. Like, I truly have to get it tattooed somewhere on me. Iggy really starts to shine when we get closer to Dio's mansion. He fights Pet Shop, which is actually insane. It has to be really cool to see two animals really duke it out during a stand battle, and it's honestly one of my favorite fights in all of part 3. Now that we've done a slight overview of all the Crusaders, who is the best? Kakyoin is such a great character and a solid pillar that makes the Crusaders who they are. But it pains me to say that my favorite MILF hunter isn't my favorite Crusader. So what about our Egyptian king Abdul? He is truly a great Crusader that saved the lives of all the Crusaders many times over. Yet this beautiful fortune teller isn't the best Crusader. How about everyone's favorite Jokestar, Joseph? He's an extremely great comic relief character, but his cleverness is his most dangerous weapon. There's never a dull moment with our Hamon daddy, but he isn't the best Crusader either. But what about our favorite Frenchman, Polnareff? One of the only non-Joestar survivors of the group that really grew on me and as the part continued. He is more than just a stupid, silly guy. He also has such a big heart and love for his friends and will fight until the very end. But just like his earrings, it heartbreaks me to say that he isn't the best Crusader either. Well, what about one of the most iconic JoJos, the delinquent with the heart of gold, Jotaro? Without Jotaro's stand, I don't think they would be able to have gone that far in the journey to find Dio, let alone defeat Dio. He is such a deep character that people don't give him enough credit for, and that's why Jotaro Kujo is one of the best JoJos, but not the best Crusader either. The best Crusader, the one, the only, the Boston Terrier of many faces, Iggy the Fool. Wait, hold on. Iggy the Fool. I'm not very biased at all with this pick. Hold on. Before you get upset, let me cook. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Iggy was running them streets. He had hella bitches, and life couldn't get any better. And then you have Abdul, who just seemingly kidnaps him, using coffee gum to persuade him and take him all the way to Egypt to fight a fight that he has no reason in fighting in the first place. I know what you're asking yourself. Why is Iggy the best Crusader? He doesn't need to be a part of this fight, yet he continues to push through. From his first appearance, he had so much personality, and he was doing all of this for coffee gum and couldn't care less about any of the other Crusaders. But we see most of the time that he's being a brat or a pest or just doing whatever he wants, but it isn't until the fight with Pet Shop that we really see who Iggy is, and to be honest, have to be top 3 fights of all of part 3. In the dedicated episode, we get to see Iggy for who he truly is. He does have this self-centered persona, kind of like Jotaro, but it completely folds when someone's in need. And when he sees Pet Shop kill those dogs, he wants nothing to do with that bird in the slightest, and starts acting like a stupid mutt right in front of him to try to deceive Pet Shop. Yet, when the little boy is looking for his dogs, Iggy tries to ignore him at first. But when he starts slipping underneath the gate looking for his dog, Iggy has to make a choice: avoid the boy and avoid confrontation with Pet Shop, or save the boy who truly loves his dog. So Iggy makes the choice to save the boy and arguably fight with one of Dio's strongest allies. In this fight, it really puts Iggy to the test. Pet Shop is relentless with their attacks. When Iggy tries to hide in the sewer, Pet Shop goes right in after him. And then on top of that, he forces Iggy to be trapped in a position where he has to cut off his own leg in order to escape and continue fighting. Iggy was still determined to make it out alive, so he creates an underwater hut for himself to stay low and in hopes of wading out and recovering. Pet Shop doesn't allow him to do this and dive deep down in there to get Iggy. But even though he is fearful of the outcome, he still charges headfirst into Pet Shop, biting his beak and stopping his ice ability, thus winning the fight. Iggy is freshly wounded and almost on the brink of passing out, but he understands that he has to lead the Crusaders to Dio's hideout and put an end to all of this. Iggy is the only one that enters the mansion that isn't at 100%. Iggy's final fight is probably the hardest thing for me to watch. As someone who absolutely adores Iggy, and even though I don't have a Boston Terrier of my own, my pup reminds me of Iggy so very much. Iggy was able to fool Vanilla Ice and piss him off so much that he beat him to a pulp. Vanilla Ice saw Iggy as nothing but an animal, nothing special. When Iggy was bleeding out and Polnareff couldn't move, Iggy showed how strong-willed he was and how much heart that little pup had, using the last of his life to save Polnareff and allowing him to continue on his journey of defeating Dio and also defeating Vanilla Ice. Iggy had my attention the moment he was on screen with that ugly looking face, but this is where he solely took my heart. Iggy wanted nothing to do with this fight and forcibly put in this position, but he knew that the goal of stopping Dio was too great and needed to help the Crusaders on their journey. Iggy has and will remain my favorite character in all of JoJo's. I will always purchase anything that's everything Iggy related. I love that coffee chewing, hair biting, always tooting mutt so much. And I hope I gave you a little bit of a different viewpoint on why I love Iggy so much. Obviously, my choice is very, very biased, but I really want to know, who do you think is the best Crusader, or who's just your favorite Crusader of the bunch? I really want to know and talk about it in the comment below, because I love talking about JoJo's anytime I can. Thank you very much for making it to the end of the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to get 1K by the end of the year, so I hope to see you all there. And I've been your bestest bro, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.